Hello everyone, I am in Cranbrook today at Fitness Inc. We are 4 weeks out from the axle press world record. We're into a big session today, hitting a top weight somewhere between 205, 210 kilos. World record is 217 at the moment. So we're gonna get warm, get started, and then build up into something special. Wish me luck. Now, you guys know with split jerking, getting the bar on your shoulders is really, really important. This is my #1 exercise that I go to get my shoulders warm in preparation for my axle press. Put a bit of tension in, working on the external rotation of the shoulder by grabbing it backwards and pulling that bar across your body. With this stuff, I really don't go sets and reps. It depends on the day I've had, it depends on the feel, but more often than not, I'll go for 3 sets and try to sit somewhere around 30 seconds, but it varies quite a bit day to day. Now, in the dip, a lot of people deal with sensitive knees, and with that, it's usually coming from no actual pathology at all. You just need to get them moving a bit, and it's usually coming from some sort of tight quads. So all you're gonna do is grab a band, attach it to the top of the rig, and we're gonna do a reverse Nordic curl simply by leaning back into the band. And I'll do a few sets of 10 here. Now, what's important during this is you're squeezing your butt to keep your hips as far forward as possible, so we are getting a good stretch in the quad, and you're initiating the way back up by driving your toes down into the ground and getting the quads to work at end range a little bit. Then I'm just gonna get my hips warm a little bit, and between these 3, I should be good to go after a couple of rounds. It's pretty cold outside today, and the temperature outside really does change how much warming up you need to do, because core body temperature is one of the major things you have to get right when you're warming up. So I always say you shouldn't be lifting any significant weight until you start to sweat just a little bit. My right bicep is getting pinchy in this flip over portion, and I'm not sure what to do about it. Now, really important to note, the only reason I'm stretching is because I don't have the requisite range that I'm looking for to be in a really good front rack position. If I had the range, I wouldn't be bothering to spend any time on this at all. So make sure you're not wasting your time in the gym, and everything you do, there's a dedicated purpose. If we're thinking about this position here, like naturally your shoulders are gonna be internally rotated. If you can't get there, then you're gonna have to pull a lot harder. So just thinking about every real range. The funny thing about the shoulders, I find, is even if you're not stretching something that's directly related, like say, I'm trying to get into a low bar squat, if I stretch internal rotation, even though low bar is external rotation, it seems to help out. So when you're thinking about shoulders, it's such a complicated joint, and there's so much going on because it's inherently the most mobile and least stable, that you can sort of use a shotgun approach and get really good results. My #1 and 2 for this though would be making sure lats are stretched out with something like this, and making sure pecs are stretched out with something like the doorway stretch there. If you get those 2, that's a pretty good start. Now, my choice when to put on equipment is usually to work up something that gives some sort of resistance before I put equipment on, and then my next jump should feel about as comfortable as my last if I execute well after the equipment's on. Belt placement on any clean and press event you'll notice that this is what I always look the fattest, because your objective is to put it nice and low so you can clean without a problem, but you still want it in a pretty normal spot on the back. That way I'm gonna get the back support without having to get the bar so high on my stomach before cleaning. Exactly this play. That was easier than the one before. I kept it nice and close in the transition and popped way easier from 1 to 2. I didn't like my dip in that one into the split jerk. Bar got a bit ahead, but there was enough power there was no problem. That's 175 down. We're gonna go 190 and then hit our 205 to 210, wherever that lies. Okay, small change of plans. Mental math went wrong. We're gonna jump from 175 to 207. Now, under normal circumstances, would I recommend doing a jump that big? Probably not. But if I'm thinking about how I wanna handle it at the show to break the record, our jumps are 170, 180, 190, 200, 210 world record, I think. So if that's the case, I'd do 170, 190 world record. There's no sense in inching your way along because it is quite a fatiguing movement, and reps and reps and reps and reps will really burn you out quick. So we're gonna give a crack at 207. I was saying, if I hit that today on a bar with no knurling, on a shirt with no grip, with no chalk on my shirt, it's a really, really, really good place to be in. Those are actual warm-up sets done. I'm about to hit 207, or at least try my best. But first, I'm gonna show you some of the things that I do to get generally strong to be able to do something like this. I'll give you a few tips along the way. Stay tuned to the end and see if I hit the 207 kilo axle press, 10 kilos off the world record with no chalk, with no knurling on the bar. Pretty non-ideal circumstances. Wish me luck. Back off time. It's programmed to do triples from the floor, but with how my arm is feeling, not that it feels bad or injured or anything, but definitely a safer bet. And I would back myself with a few more heavy sessions to be able to clean that more efficiently. And then if I can make heavy weight feel comfortable for my shoulders, sky's the limit. So we got 170 kilos, 3x3 back downs. That's around 350, 340-ish pounds. We'll put the actual number here. But 3x3, let's get stuck in. I'm just really focusing on that front foot right now and trying to send it as far in front of me as possible. It's amazing when you get that bottom half right, how much easier the top half feels. It just gets so hard to commit when you're tired because you feel like you just don't have the leg power to pop it high enough without pressing. And I think when strongman adapt to split jerk, we always have pressing out as an option in the back of our minds, where Olympic lifters, that wouldn't really cross their mind at all because that's always been against the rules for them. So I still think that if you're a strongman and you're athletic and coordinated enough to start learning the split jerk, really, really good option. Go ahead, check out the video I did with Sonny Webster, my Olympic lifting coach up here. We give some really good cues how to get started, especially if you're a bigger person. Need your mobility work, need your technical work from the ground up. That's a great place to start. All right, shirt swap. I had a little cut from the actual grinding. Of course, it's my LHBK stuff. Go ahead, check out the YouTube shop. Pin comment if you want to get your hands on some Lift Heavy Be Kind merch and keep growing the community that shows people that the strength community is actually pretty welcoming and for everyone. Now, of course, I'm trying to break the actual world record at Royal Albert Hall on July 13th. Tickets are sold out for that, but there's still a live stream, and I want to be the first person ever to break a world record at a Giants Live and go on to win the show. So I'm going to do a little bit of Zercher carry training, which is going to carry over to Conan's wheel. I came second in this at World's Strongest Man, second at World Tour Finals on the Giants Live setup. A little bit of improvement needed and potentially another event win for me. This exercise, when you're front loaded, what you have to try to stop from happening is this. And if you think, when you're in this position, dipping and driving, you don't want to cave your chest, because as soon as you do, you're going to launch that bar straight out in front of you. So here, I'm focusing on keeping my upper back as tight as possible, keeping my chest nice and open and proud as I hold and breathe and reinforce this upright position. We're going to build up to about 500 pounds here today, hopefully holding for sets of around 30 seconds. Whoa, hamstring crap. Oh, it's so hard. It hurts, just the pressure. And then this bar also rotates, and normally if we were to do Conan's, that bar obviously doesn't rotate. That's a big effort. I'm supposed to do 3 sets, RP 7. That was definitely too much. So next 2 sets, I'm gonna go 15 seconds. Just stay nice and solid. Stay healthy and make small progress. That should always be your goal. No matter if you're at the world level or your local level, first time at the gym, just make those small incremental gains and be hyper consistent. And that's how you find out, give or take, what your genetic potential is going to be.
So how do you figure out like your perceived level of like effort when it comes to something like this?
On something like this, it's really hard. And it has to come with a lot of experience and a lot of honesty. And the biggest difficulty with something like this is it's so arousal based. If you're in competition, you got adrenaline going, you can just push yourself for longer and longer times. But if it's just a normal training session, maybe you're not that into it, it's gonna feel a lot harder. But the important thing is, remember, we're training the nervous system. And if you, on a day, feel like it's too much, it's definitely too much. So that, I thought, okay, out of 10, how hard was I working? Probably a 9. Could I have gone another 15 seconds? Yes. But that's not the objective we're going for today. We're not looking to push that close to redlining. So I'm just gonna roughly cut it in half and then sort of see how that felt. But it's definitely a rough estimation. It's not as easy as something like a deadlift or a bench press where you have exact numbers and increments to go by. Next up, we're gonna do some seated row. Now, it's gonna be really helpful to pull that bar in and keep it close. One of the biggest challenges in turning over the axle is that when you launch up, sometimes you just tend to launch and push it away. And once it's out away from you, it's gonna be impossible to get it back around. So if you can be in really tight to your chest and pulling, that's gonna be huge for stability and to get that turned over. Now, I'm gonna use the rope, and I'm gonna grab midway on the rope because I'm trying to work my grip a little bit. Those of you who saw World's Strongest Man, you know exactly why, but gonna improve grip, gonna get my back a little bit stronger, then we're gonna go hit that top set of our axle press. If you're ever doing anything with a rope where you're looking to grab the middle, it's always best to tie it into a knot, and then that way you only have to deal with the one side. It becomes a little bit more stable. There we go. So I'll grab up in here. Oh, you gotta get your hands used to that rope. One of the big challenges training for strongman is you just have to be generally ready for so many things. So this is gonna train my back to keep that axle close for sure. It's also gonna train my grip, and it's also gonna train my specific grip for arm over arm events. Because generally you gotta be ready for stuff to come up. If that's a weakness for you and you haven't touched it in a year's time, you're not gonna do a 12-week prep and totally turn yourself around. So anytime you can sort of double up the usefulness of a workout, always make that decision. Now, I think if I'm able to break the axle press world record at Royal Albert Hall that'll go down as one of the coolest experiences in my strongman career as a one-off event in such an iconic venue. But I'd love to know from you guys, what is your most iconic sporting moment ever? One thing, one play, one event that happened. We've got an international audience, so I'd love to hear some darts moments, some soccer moments, some football moments. Hit me with them, drop in the comments. The grip's getting really hard on the paint, but I know I have that. Boom, done and dusted. I am amped with that. That is really, really good. That's well further ahead than I thought it would be at this stage. We got 4 weeks till World Amateur Hall, 4 weeks. So I do my best to break the axle press world record. And today took me from, I know I'm able to do it, to I know that I'll be capable of it on the day. I just gotta go out and execute, train hard in the meantime. Wish me luck. Let me know what you guys think. We're gonna have a few more of these sessions to go, a few more big lifts to go, and then it'll be the big day. As per usual, lift heavy, be kind, merch link in the description. Leave a moose dropping if you haven't already, and please subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.